So let's move on to the actual matchup in the NBA Finals. CJ, I'm not going to watch a second because people are saying they're small markets, and small markets don't get ratings. So you know what? I don't care about anything other than big markets playing in big games. So I'm not going to watch. I'm not going to watch. Just not going to do it. How do you feel about it being two small market teams? What's your opinion on this?
I go back and forth. I saw the stat today how since January 1st, these have been the two in the conferences, the teams with the best record. So even though Indiana's a 4 seed, they've played really well since the new year began. The small market thing doesn't bother me as much here because I think Indiana can be really fun to watch when they push the pace, when they're moving and grooving. I think Halliburton was outstanding, I thought, against the Knicks. Halliburton deserves to be in that conversation, and I might take Halliburton over Brunson. But at least Indiana, though small market, is fun. Oklahoma City, I would not call fun to watch. I think they're just so good, So there is something
They're
about that.
devastating. That's the best word I would describe Oklahoma City. Devastating. They're a devastating watch.
Yeah, they are, what does Thanos say? I am inevitable or something. Like, it's kind of like that's
Yeah.
what the Thunder are. So the market thing, and I've said it, doesn't bother me. I don't think the guys on the Thunder are fun. I don't think Shea is fun to watch. I'm sorry. I've said it before. I'll be a basic NBA boy here. Like, I think Anthony Edwards is more fun to watch than Shea. Obviously, Anthony Edwards stunk it up in the Western Conference Finals. Um, but Halliburton's fun to watch. A lot of these guys on the Pacers are fun to watch. And I think the Pacers' pace meeting the Thunder's defense and how the Thunder can score, it should be a good matchup. Actually, I think the minus 750 Thunder odds is a little
Yeah.
unfair, but they should be able to win in six. Indiana's gonna scare them. Uh, Indiana winning game one, I feel like is like a very real possibility, and this is very interesting because for the Thunder, they were always meant to get here. For the Pacers, they're playing with house money. So that's a bit of a scary place to be when you're that much of a favorite. The other guys have nothing to lose. So Mark Dagnall has a challenge ahead of him to keep his guys focused, but I was really impressed with what the Thunder did to the Timberwolves and how easily they dispatched them. The Timberwolves, kind of like the Knicks, it's the same result back-to-back years, just a gutless showing in the Western Conference Finals. So I think it'll be a fun series. The matchup thing, I don't care. It could be Celtics, Lakers, and the come September there'd be conversation about the NBA having a ratings problem. Like, I just don't care anymore.
Correct.
Like, that doesn't move the needle for me. I want to see compelling basketball. These playoffs for me have not been the most exciting as a Celtics fan first, so I say that to say that, but I want to see some good basketball. I don't want to see Oklahoma City sweep this team. I just don't.
Neither do I. And, we're getting such a fascinating matchup on one side of the ball. You're getting this high octane, high powered get out in transition. We're going to just run all these different half court sets. Guys are moving, setting screens. Pascal Siakam is running out in transition, getting 8 free points every single game. So you have that team taking on this hectic, frenetic guys, arms up, flying everywhere, generating all these steals. So I feel like nobody's talking about the other side of the ball where Shea is going to be working against a pretty average Pacers defense, because the main side of the ball, Indiana's offense attacking this historically great Oklahoma City defense, that is so compelling. And the most compelling part of it is that they're kind of the defense of Oklahoma City and the offense of Indiana are very similar in that they feel very chaotic. Like, there's just guys running around and making stuff happen. But it's also very composed, and the rotations for Oklahoma City's defense are correct. And offensively, Indiana, there always is going to be a guy open, whether it's Halliburton in the pick and roll or it's, Neesmith working on the other side. Like, someone's going to always end up open. If you watch enough Pacers basketball, you'll see there's kind of an open guy on every single play. So it's a really interesting contrast of styles there, where Indiana doesn't ever turn the ball over, playing this incredibly fast pace, up and down, chaotic style. Whereas Oklahoma City, playing that chaotic defense, they generate trillions of turnovers, and they are one of the greatest turnover generating teams in the history of the sport. I think in the series against Minnesota, there was one game where they were like plus 30 in points off of turnovers, which should not even be possible. It simply should not be possible to have that big of a gap. Yeah. But I wanted to go and look at the past matchups from these teams from the regular season. They played twice, obviously. I don't really think there's a lot to take away from it because the first matchup was in December. Chet Holmgren did not play. And Oklahoma City won on a quasi comeback. Indiana held the lead for most of the game. OKC came back to win. And then the most recent game was, I want to say, like game 70 in the season. So nearing the end, Chet Holmgren did not play in this game either, actually. And it was a thorough wire-to-wire Oklahoma City 20-point win. There's not much you can take away. Not much you can take away from that series. But what I will take away from what I saw is that I very much feel like this is going to be an others scoring series. If you're Indiana, like, be ready to see Andrew Nembhard take 16 shots. Get ready to see Aaron Nesmith shooting 8 threes. Because in the games that Indiana played OKC, Halliburton had a total of 22 points in the 2 games. One game he had 4. And I know Halliburton's a masterful offensive player. He doesn't turn the ball over much, but he's not the best ball handler. He's not Kyrie Irving with the ball in his hands. And Oklahoma City's defensive guards, Caruso, Wallace, Lou Dort, will probably start off on Halliburton for most of the game. They're just going to dive. They're just going to dive and try and steal and poke and prod. And I think it's going to result in a lot of other guys having to run action for Indiana against OKC because, all right, well, I guess we don't feel terrible about Nembhard attacking Shea one-on-one on the perimeter. Like, it's not a great matchup, but if the other matchup is Alex Caruso on Halliburton, and Caruso's already stripped him twice in this quarter, I think Nembhard might be the better option. And the thing is, if you're Indiana, that's not the end of the world because their other guys have been showing up. They've been showing up this playoffs.
Well,
they showed up last playoffs.
Nembhard sucked against the Knicks.
Yes, Nembhard was terrible.
Nembhard was
terrible
awful
against the Knicks.
He's like afraid of shooting threes now. He was horrible against the Knicks. But Pascal Siakam was outstanding. Nesmith,
outstanding.
If he's healthy, is good to go. Miles Turner might be the worst basketball player in the NBA. I'm starting to think that he is just not a viable option. But if he can bring Chet out of the paint, free for all, you know?
Yeah, I think it's going to be for Oklahoma City, I think for sure it is not going to be an Isaiah Hartenstein series.
No.
Because Miles Turner is not a guy who hangs out around in the paint. So he's just going to be spreading out, spacing the floor at the top of the key. And I think it's very much going to be a Shea, Dort, Caruso, J-Dub, and Chet Holmgren series. I don't think we're going to see a lot of Hartenstein just because he doesn't make any sense. He was a great pickup, maybe a little bit of an overpay, and he played really well against Nikola Jokic. But that's the beauty of this Thunder team. He's one of their highest paid guys, and he was just kind of a mercenary. Just like, we got you for the Jokic matchup, and you're not necessarily going to be a great fit in a lot of other games, including this series against the Pacers. I'd be surprised if he plays more than like 15 minutes a game.
If Miles Turner's hitting shots, the Thunder might be in trouble, though. Like, Miles Turner was like a non-factor against the Knicks. Like, I didn't think he was doing anything right. If he's hitting threes, that could be trouble. If Halliburton has 11 plus assists, that's trouble. Because in the games he had double-digit assists against the Knicks, the Pacers were 4-0. So Halliburton doesn't have to put up 30 like he did in that masterful Game 4. One of the best
playoff games ever
I've ever seen. Just so in control. If he's dishing the ball, trouble. I think it's going to be fun because both of these teams, Henry, to your point, echoing it wholeheartedly agree. Both have others, and we're going to see those others shine. Jalen Williams has been playing well. He came on against the Timberwolves, played really well after some suspect playoff performances before. I'm not sold on Chet still, but he's only going to get better. And the combination of the Carusos, the Hartensteins, the Isaiah Joes of the world, there's just so many guys on Oklahoma City. So this is all going to be about Shea. The Pacers just need to play smart. Brunson foul baited them a lot, and they fell for it a lot. Shea is going to foul bait, and the refs are going to be begging to blow the
What?
whistle.
You're telling me Shea is going to grift for fouls? No, come on. NBA Twitter told me it's Mickey Mouse.
So the Pacers just have to play smart. And the good thing for the Pacers, which isn't talked about enough in my opinion, is just how good of a basketball coach Rick Carlisle is. A proven champion, a proven winner. Rick Carlisle is an outstanding basketball coach and flies completely under the radar, in my opinion. So if there's anybody who's going to be getting the boys fired up, it's him. He can actually speak to being in a playoff series where you're massively, massively not favored, you are huge underdogs, and finding a way to shock the world. He actually can speak to that in a way that a lot of coaches cannot. So Rick Carlisle is a big factor for me. We know Mark Dagnall's a great coach, and we know Rick Carlisle's a great coach, but he's not talked about enough, and him having his experience that he had in Dallas and being able to talk about those runs, I think is going to prove to be important for this team because he has them believing. He definitely has them believing. So I imagine he's going to talk a lot about the 2011 finals with this team because they're kind of similar.
I think Carlisle has been massively underrated his whole. Remember how much of a mess the Pacers were for a couple of years there? They hired that European coach who remember like he fought an assistant coach or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And so the Pacers they had the TJ Warren explosion in the bubble, and then they just kind of fell out of existence for a little bit. Nobody really cared about them. They make the trade. They sign Rick Carlisle. They make the Sabonis for Tyrese Halliburton trade. And now they've been, over the last 2 years, 2 conference finals appearances, 1 NBA finals appearance, and lest we forget, 1 in-season tournament final appearance. You cannot forget that.
No.
I saw someone on Twitter pointed out that this NBA finals is a matchup. I think it was Harrison Fagan of Lakers Nation. This NBA finals matchup is between the last 2 NBA Cup runners-up. So these guys have extra motivation. They don't win the real prize, the NBA Cup. So they have to really show up and show out to take home the Larry O'Brien, which, as we all know, is the lesser of the trophies in the NBA. Everybody knows that.
I can't believe the Bucks won the IST. I actually completely forgot about that. That's so funny. I completely forgot Milwaukee did that.
Yeah,
it's been a weird season.
It's been a very bizarre season. For Milwaukee in particular, they win the in-season tournament. Everyone's like, okay, this team is still serious. Then they get injury bad luck. They trade Chris Middleton for the worst player in the NBA.
Yeah, bad general managering who they extended. Good job, Milwaukee. It should be a fun finals, though. I just want it to be competitive. I also like. Can I say this?
Yes.
I like the color matchup. I like the call me an aesthetics guy. I like the color matchup here.
I saw this. Now this is interesting. I did not know that you could do this. The Pacers themselves, the official team account, at the start of the conference finals, just tweeted out, "We're going yellow. Every single game, we're wearing yellow for the rest of the playoffs." I'm like, can they just do that? Is that because none of their potential opponents were able to wear yellow? Is it because they just can unilaterally decide to do that? I mean, it's not a big deal. Oklahoma City has blue and like a light blue and obviously white. But I was surprised when I saw that. I'm like, wait, I didn't know they could do that. I did not know that was a possibility to just say, okay, this is the color we're wearing.
And wearing it, they are. I kind of love the move. I'm a big fan of it.
So am I. I'm trying to remember the point that I was going to make before I got distracted. Rick Carlisle,
hell of a coach.
This makes for great podcasting content.
Yeah, this is outstanding work by you.
Great stuff.
Yeah, it should be fun, man. It should be fun. And I think
But what do you think about the line? This minus 750, minus 800. I think that's a little aggressive. I think it should probably be in the minus 500 range.
yeah, I think it's a disastrous line. I just I've had, as a fan, I've had my team be a massive favorite in the biggest moment of my life, and they've let me down. I'm talking about the New England Patriots, of course. And this, to me, I just sense there's a bit of a trap here. Everybody was like, oh, the Knicks are going to go back to the NBA Finals. Oh! And they got fucking stomped. This whole, like, belief that, like, I don't know, man. I'm not saying Indiana can win, but Indiana's going to come at Oklahoma City, and they're going to keep coming, and Skip is coming, and Stephen A is coming.
So
but like,
I wanted to look it up because I was curious. Cleveland in the round 2 matchup, they were minus 500. And not only did they lose that series, that wasn't particularly close.
No.
That could have been a gentleman's sweep, honestly. It really could have. And Indiana was a big underdog in that series. And obviously you don't want to say injuries because you never want that to happen, but who knows what happens to this Oklahoma City offense if Shea sprains an ankle, misses 2 games. Like, you can't say Indiana has no chance after the run that they've gone on, and not just the run that they've gone on, the fact that there have been multiple games on the road against a 64-win team and a very good Knicks team that they just simply pummeled their opponent. It didn't even look like they were in the same weight class. And I know OKC is a tier above, maybe 2 tiers above those teams. But to say that Indiana is drawing completely dead, I think that is entirely misplaced, because everyone thought they were drawing dead against Cleveland. Everybody thought they were drawing dead against Cleveland. And as I said, they won that series very easily.